Every time the world declares the dollar dead, it rises again. From the oil shocks of the 1970s to the inflation surge of the 2020s, the US dollar has faced endless predictions of collapse. Yet somehow, it always recovers. But why? What gives this one currency such gravitational pull, strong enough to drag the entire global financial system back into its orbit time and time again? The real answer isn't just economics. It's power, structure, and trust. Let's start with the myth, the idea that debt, deficits, or political division will destroy the dollar. For decades, critics have warned that printing trillions would crush its value. And yet, every crisis, from 2008 to COVID, made the dollar even stronger. Because the dollar isn't just a currency. It's infrastructure. Every trade, every loan, every barrel of oil, every ounce of gold, every bond issuance, they all clear through a network built on dollars. To abandon, it would be like trying to unplug from the internet. That's why the dollar always recovers, not because it's flawless, but because it's indispensable. When the world panics, everyone runs to safety. And safety is spelled USD. You see, global finance runs on liquidity, the ability to move money instantly, anywhere at scale. No other currency on earth offers that. Not the euro, not the yuan, not even gold. The dollar's dominance isn't just about America's economy. It's about architecture. It's embedded in SWIFT payments, cross-border settlements, debt markets, and derivatives. It's the language of global money. And when fear hits, investors don't care about politics. They care about liquidity. That's why every global shock ends with a stronger dollar. In 2008, when U.S. banks imploded, the dollar should have collapsed. Instead, it surged. Why? Because global institutions needed dollars to survive. Central banks around the world opened dollar swap lines just to keep the system running. In 2020, when COVID shut the world down, it happened again. Dollar funding stress spiked, and once more, the Federal Reserve became the world's lender of last resort. No other country could do that. The dollar's recovery isn't a mystery. It's built into the system itself. But there's more, something psychological. Trust. The U.S. government might be polarized, but its treasury market remains the safest, deepest pool of capital in history. Trillions flow in and out every day, backed by a legal framework, transparency, and an open capital account. That trust, not perfection, is what keeps the dollar alive. Even America's competitors rely on it. China, Europe, the Gulf states, they all hold dollar reserves. They may talk about de-dollarization, but when crisis hits, they still buy treasuries. Because when your house is on fire, you don't debate which fire hose to use. You grab the one that works. That's why the dollar always recovers. Because every alternative depends on it. Let's talk about that structure for a moment. The global banking system is built around a eurodollar, dollar deposits held outside the U.S. in offshore banks. This shadow network is enormous, bigger than the U.S. domestic money supply. And it's all denominated in dollars. When global trade expands, demand for those dollars rises. When it contracts, that demand spikes even higher. That's why the dollar strengthens in crises, because everyone suddenly needs dollars to pay their debts. It's a paradox. The worse things get, the stronger the dollar becomes. This is what economists call the dollar smile. On one side, global optimism, the dollar weakens as money flows to risk. On the other, global panic, the dollar surges as investors rush home. In the middle, stagnation. But at the extreme, strength. The dollar always finds a way to smile. Now let's look at the geopolitical layer. The dollar isn't just a financial asset, it's a weapon. Through sanctions, banking access, and reserve control, Washington wields monetary influence unlike any other nation. It can freeze assets, cut off transactions, or isolate economies overnight. That power makes enemies, but it also makes loyalty. Because every government, every corporation, every investor knows that if you're not inside the dollar system, you're vulnerable. And so, despite the complaint, they stay. They have to. Even energy, the foundation of modern civilization, still runs on dollars. The petrodollar system, born in the 1970s, links oil sales to U.S. currency. Even countries trying to break away, Russia, China, Iran, still settle most of their trade indirectly in dollars. The result? Every time someone tries to escape the dollar, they end up reinforcing it. Now let's pull back the lens. At its core, the dollar's resilience comes from three forces. First, network dominance. Once a system reaches global scale, it's nearly impossible to replace. Second, liquidity supremacy. No other asset market offers the depth of the U.S. Treasury market. Third, institutional trust. Whatever its flaws, the U.S. still offers the rule of law, transparency, and property rights, the foundation of financial confidence. Combine those, and you have something that's not just a currency, it's the operating system of the world. Could that change someday? Yes. Every empire ends. But it doesn't happen quickly. The Roman denarius lasted centuries after Rome's political decline. The British pound dominated for 150 years before yielding to the dollar, and even then, it took 2 world wars. Transitions in global reserve currencies take generations, not years. So when analysts predict the dollar's imminent demise, they're missing the point. The dollar doesn't survive because America is flawless. It survives because the system can't function without it. Until there's a credible, scalable, trustworthy replacement, not rhetoric, not digital experiments, but a true alternative, the dollar will keep bouncing back. It's not a miracle. It's math. It's mechanics. It's trust. That's the real reason the dollar always recovers. Because it isn't just money, it's the backbone of global power. And as long as the world keeps using it, that power endures. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, comment, share this video with your fellow traders, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping global finance.